Hello everyone, and welcome back to our horror movie recap. Today, we're diving into the South Korean thriller, I Saw the Devil. This film is a gripping tale of revenge that takes a dark turn. After a South Korean special agent's fiancé is horrifically murdered, he embarks on a relentless quest for vengeance against her killer. Once he captures the murderer, he doesn't just stop there. He tortures him and places a tracker on him, turning the tables in a brutal game of cat and mouse. This film is undoubtedly one of the most intense and violent experiences I've ever encountered, filled with suspenseful and disturbing moments, brought to life by outstanding performances. If you're a fan of gory films like I am, this one is definitely worth a watch. Let's dive into the world of horror films. The movie kicks off with a chilling yet somewhat romantic perspective as we journey down a dark, snowy road. We encounter a young woman who seems to be stuck in her car, waiting for a tow truck to come to her rescue. Shortly after, we see a man from an earlier scene approach her vehicle, offering assistance with her flat tire. The young woman informs him that she has already contacted a tow service, but he is persistent and wants to take a look himself. Meanwhile, we learn that the young woman, Joo-young, is on the phone with her fiancé, NIS Special Agent Kim Soo-hyun, played by the talented Lee Young-hun. Agent Soo is seen gearing up with his fellow agents for a mysterious mission, and it's revealed that he is working on his fiancé's birthday, which adds a layer of tension to the story. In a touching moment, Joo-young requests Agent Soo to sing her a song over the phone, but this sweet exchange quickly turns dark as the plot thickens. The man outside informs Joo-young that her car is deeply embedded in the snow, yet she reassures him that she can wait for the tow truck and rolls up her window. What follows is one of the film's many shocking scenes, as the man violently breaks into her car with a hammer, leaving her trapped and unable to escape. Tragically, Joo-young meets a brutal fate at the hands of this man, who then drags her lifeless body away, leaving a gruesome trail of blood in the snow. The antagonist, portrayed by the incredible Choi Min-sik, delivers a performance that is both chilling and unforgettable. From the very first scene, I found myself loathing this character, as he unleashed his fury on his defenseless victim, which was truly stomach-churning. Interestingly, I noticed for the first time while preparing this video that a police patrol car can be seen passing by Jank's school bus in the opening shot, highlighting the cruel irony that help was so close yet so far away. A shocking turn of events, we learn that Joo-young survived the brutal hammer blows to her head. She awakens in the killer's lair, confined within a transparent body bag. With the last remnants of her strength, she begs for her life, revealing to her captor that she is pregnant. However, the killer remains unmoved by her desperate pleas and proceeds to dismember her in a horrifying scene. As he cuts her body apart, her engagement ring slips from her finger and falls into a nearby drainage ditch. After a long and gruesome day, the man begins to clean up the aftermath of his actions, while the search for Joo-young's remains quickly commences. A young boy playing in a field stumbles upon a piece of her ear, leading to the police discovering her severed head, which triggers utter chaos at the crime scene. The situation escalates when the officer carrying her head trips, causing it to roll right in front of Agent Soo, who is left utterly stunned. This officer had one simple task: to transport the severed head without mishap, especially not in front of Joo-young's grieving family. Overwhelmed with shock and sorrow, Agent Soo breaks down in tears, a moment that is mirrored at Joo-young's funeral, where he again succumbs to his emotions. It's a heart-wrenching film, and I can understand why he cries so often. He vows to his deceased fiancée that he will track down her murderer and ensure he faces justice. Following this, we see Agent Soo approach his supervisor, requesting a mere 2 weeks to mourn. If I were in his shoes, I doubt I could ever return to work after such a tragedy. It's hard to imagine anyone truly healing from an experience like this. Agent Soo then acquires a small tracking device that a colleague discreetly provided him, assuring him that everything will be fine. He is subsequently given the profiles of 4 potential suspects by Ju Young's father, Chief Jang, a veteran of the local police force with over 3 decades of experience. As the investigation unfolds, the search for the murderer truly kicks off. Our first suspect is caught in the act of a rather intense solo session, which is abruptly halted by Agent Soo. Without hesitation, Agent Soo confronts him, delivering a harsh beating before inquiring about his fiancée's murder. Although she suspects he is innocent, she still decides to inflict some pain, using a wrench on him before she departs. This guy is clearly not having a good day. In the following scene, we find this unnamed suspect recovering in a hospital bed. The trauma from the encounter with Agent Soo leads him to confess to 2 murders he committed in the past. It seems he got what was coming to him. Agent Soo then tracks down the second suspect and gives him a similar treatment, but ultimately decides to eliminate him from her list of suspects. Next, we encounter a young woman waiting alone at a bus stop. Unfortunately for her, the real killer arrives in a school van and offers her a ride. Initially hesitant, she eventually accepts his offer. However, during the ride, she attempts to engage him in conversation, but he remains silent. Suddenly, he strikes her on the head with a pipe and gruesomely decapitates her with a guillotine. He certainly has a flair for the dramatic. Agent Soo later visits the killer's parents, posing as a life insurance agent, and uncovers that the suspect's name is Jang Kyung-chul. It turns out Jang is a neglectful father who shows little interest in his family. Jang's son ultimately reveals his father's address to Agent Soo. Agent Soo uncovers Jang's hidden lair, revealing a collection of women's handbags, undergarments, and clothing, which confirms that Jang is indeed the killer he has been searching for. Among the disturbing findings, he discovers a killing room, where his fiancée's engagement ring is lodged in a drainage pipe. Overwhelmed with emotion, he breaks down in tears for the 3rd time. It's heartbreaking to witness his pain. We learn that Jang Kyung-chul leads a double life as a school van driver, transporting children. This revelation is chilling, as it highlights how serial killers often disguise themselves as ordinary members of society. They engage with their communities to maintain a facade of normalcy, a fact I came to understand while studying notorious figures like John Wayne Gacy and Ted Bundy. Meanwhile, the police are also on Jang's trail. They arrive at the school and request that an employee contact him. As the school attempts to reach Jang on his cell phone, his expression reveals that he realizes he is in deep trouble. Unfortunately, he has one last passenger in his van. At this moment, it seems Jang understands that capture is imminent, prompting him to exert his control over one final victim. In a horrifying turn, he prepares to assault the young girl. However, Agent Soo intervenes, leading to an intense confrontation between the two. The fight is thrilling, yet heavily favors Soo, who dominates Jang throughout the encounter. Jang tries to escape, but Agent Soo delivers a stunning kick that halts his flight. In a dramatic turn of events, Agent Soo wraps a plastic bag around Jang's head and repeatedly slams his face into a rock. Just when it appears that he might crush Jang's skull, he unexpectedly drops the rock. Lee Young-hun's performance in this scene is nothing short of exceptional, showcasing a range of emotions that resonate deeply with the audience. Film really dives deep into the moral dilemmas we face in extreme situations. It makes me ponder how I would react if I were in Agent Su's shoes. Watching Yang endure his punishment feels justified, yet I can't help but think that I might have taken a different route altogether. If I had the chance, I might have ended Yang's life without a second thought. This raises an interesting question. How much punishment is enough for someone like him? I appreciate horror films that challenge my thinking and provoke such questions. As the story unfolds, we see Jang trying to hitch a ride from his next potential victim. In a twist of dark humor, the military unexpectedly arrives and gives him a lift to his next stop. Just when I thought the film couldn't get any more intense, we meet Taeju, Jang's old friend and a fellow killer. Taeju is a whole different level of terrifying, as he is a cannibal. I like to refer to him as Cannibal Fatso. Meanwhile, Agent Su receives a call from Chief Jang, who suggests that perhaps it's time to stop pursuing Jang. He mentions that the police think he is the one being hunted. It's a shocking twist. Chief Jang's daughter, Si-yan, also pleads with Agent Su to cease the chase, arguing that it won't bring Ju-yan back. In a chilling scene, we witness Jang, Cannibal Fatso, and his girlfriend enjoying dinner, where cannibals, Fatso is feasting on human flesh. He chillingly claims that once you taste human flesh, there's no going back. Thanks to a tracker, Agent Su can eavesdrop on their disturbingly casual dinner conversation. Cannibal Fatso ominously tells Jang that he has created a monster, one who relishes the thrill of the hunt and the torment of his victims. This intense moment, we witness his overwhelming urge to take the life of the man who has wronged him. He has finally tracked down the murderer of his beloved and stands ready to deliver his own form of justice. Yet, for someone as twisted and malevolent as he is, a swift execution simply won't suffice. He forces a tracker into Jang's mouth and brutally snaps his arm, leaving him in a state of shock. When Jang regains consciousness, he finds himself in what could have been his final resting place, only to be surprised by an envelope filled with cash resting on his chest. The notorious killer Jang has now transformed into Hitchhiker Jang, desperately trying to flag down passing cars, relying on sheer luck, or perhaps fate. Miraculously, he manages to catch a taxi in a desolate area. The driver, who already has a passenger in the back seat, kindly offers Jang a spot up front, claiming he doesn't mind the extra company. However, Jang's instincts kick in as he notices the driver's photo on the license doesn't match the man behind the wheel. He also feels the intense gaze of the rear passenger, which raises alarm bells in his mind. In a moment of unexpected ferocity, Jang takes matters into his own hands, viciously stabbing both the driver and the passenger multiple times with a small knife. The taxi careens off the road, and Yang soon realizes that the two men had previously killed the real taxi driver, stuffing his body in the trunk. Amused by the absurdity of the situation, he calls them crazy bastards. Now clad in a comically oversized soccer outfit, Jang makes his way to a nearby clinic for medical attention. However, before he can even sit down, he makes a shocking decision and assaults a nurse. Just when it seems like he might get away with it, Agent Su bursts onto the scene, delivering a swift blow to Yang's face with a fire extinguisher, putting an end to his rampage. Filled with shock and fear, tries in vain to defend himself. Once again, he suffers a brutal beating. Agent Su then takes a scalpel and slices through his Achilles tendon. Ouch. While he may have brought this upon himself, it was certainly hard to watch. Agent Su warns Jang that this is merely the beginning of his torment and that his nightmare is far from over. Meanwhile, the cannibal, busy preparing his next meal, encounters Agent Soo. He glares at her, brandishing a sharp knife. Just when it seemed like an epic showdown was about to unfold, the cannibal is swiftly overpowered. It's evident that neither the cannibal nor Jang can hold their own against Agent Soo in a fight. Hearing the chaos from downstairs, Jang grabs a double-barrel shotgun from the wall. An exhilarating and intense battle erupts within the house, involving all parties. Naturally, it culminates with Agent Soo once again mercilessly attacking Jang. He smashes Jang's skull with a metal pipe, so forcefully that it's a wonder he didn't die on the spot. Afterward, Agent Soo takes Jang to the hospital for treatment. While there, Jang overhears a conversation between the two agents, revealing that Agent Soo has been tracking him all along. When Jang regains consciousness, he finds himself in a dark tunnel and begins speaking directly to Agent Soo. He reveals that his fiancée was pregnant and pleaded for her life before he killed her. He mocks Agent Soo, suggesting he should have stayed closer while pursuing him. In a clever move, Jang manages to remove his tracker and evades Agent Soo. Subsequently, the police receive a call from Jang Kyung-chul, stating his intention to turn himself in. Agent Soo then heads to the hospital where the cannibal is being treated, seeking information on Jang's whereabouts. This scene, we notice that Cannibal Fatso's girlfriend remains unconscious after just a single punch. It's surprising, isn't it? Cannibal Fatso reveals that Jang has plans to eliminate Chief Chang through his remaining daughter and then intends to surrender himself. He can't help but mock Julian during this revelation. Meanwhile, Agent Soo takes a drastic step by forcibly opening Cannibal Fatso's mouth, leading us to finally understand how the Joker acquired his infamous scars. As Agent Soo and Captain Oh rush towards Chief Jang's home, they realize they are too late. Jang Kyung-chul arrives first and viciously attacks the chief with a dumbbell. Shortly after, the police stumble upon Soo-yeon's lifeless body in an alley. Jang Kyung-chul confronts Agent Soo, questioning who he believes is truly in control. Covered in blood, Yang tries to turn himself in at a busy intersection, but the police quickly move in to apprehend him. In a last-ditch effort, Agent Soo seizes Jang before the police can intervene and speeds away with him. The film concludes with a gripping scene where Jang is tied up beneath his own guillotine. A tense dialogue unfolds between him and Agent Soo, who inquires if Jang feels any remorse for his actions. Agent Soo ominously informs Jang that his death is imminent, but it will come when he is at his most vulnerable. Jang, in a moment of desperation, apologizes and pleads for his life, asking if he should be afraid. In a surprising turn of events, Jang expresses that he remains completely unaffected by Agent Soo's actions. He acknowledges that everything he holds dear has been stripped away from him, leaving him with nothing left to lose. At this moment, it becomes clear that Agent Soo is grappling with a profound realization. He cannot inflict pain or seek revenge on true malevolence. As Agent Soo departs from the scene, we see Jang Kyung-chul's family arriving at the house, unaware of the grim fate that awaits. The tension escalates as we notice that Agent Soo has rigged a guillotine to the door, precariously balanced by Jang's own teeth. In a tragic twist, Jang's family, oblivious to the danger, attempts to open the door. Jang desperately cries out, urging them not to proceed, but their efforts lead to a devastating outcome. The guillotine falls, resulting in a horrific scene witnessed by his son and parents. The chilling sound of Jang's voice reveals that this was Agent Soo's only means of rendering Jang vulnerable in his final moments. Despite the horror of the situation for Jang's family, it is evident that he wished to shield them from witnessing his demise. The last echoes that reach Agent Soo are the anguished cries of Jang Kyung-chul's family, forever marked by the tragedy of his death. The closing scene of the film, we see Agent Soo, utterly devastated, walking away from the house, overwhelmed with emotion as she breaks down in tears just before the screen fades to black. This moment encapsulates the essence of "I saw the devil." Honestly, by the end of this film, I felt completely shattered. The way Agent Soo crumbles into tears and walks away resonated deeply with me. It was as if I was experiencing her pain firsthand. This film prompted me to reflect on many difficult questions. What would I have done if I were in her shoes? It's a scenario I hope no one ever faces, yet we live in a harsh world where such tragedies can occur. By the conclusion, I found myself agreeing with Jang Kyung-chul's twisted perspective. Even though he met his demise, he managed to inflict pain on everyone Agent Soo loved. He was indifferent to his fate, exerting his control over those he targeted, ultimately leading to the emotional breakdown of both Agent Soo and myself. Should Agent Soo have taken Jang's life the first time? She had the chance. I genuinely believe she should have. Not only would it have brought her a sense of closure, but it could have prevented the tragic losses that followed in her pursuit of him. This narrative illustrates that revenge rarely leads to satisfaction. If one chooses to embark on a path of vengeance, how do we measure the extent of our retribution? Can we ever truly quantify how our actions compare to the original hurt we endured? I find myself uncertain. I sincerely hope you all found this video enjoyable. Thank you.